Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video I will show you how to paint a simple cosmos flower. I do love cosmos flowers, they're just so gorgeous, and even though it's a fall and their time has gone, they're still blooming and I just love them. I so much enjoy them, so I decided to do one. First I will start with a sketch, and this time please do sketch with me. I won't place the sketch for download. I encourage you to sketch yourself. And this one is just very simple to sketch, to paint, so why not give it a try. So first thing I did is made an oval shape, and that is going to be my larger cosmos flower, and then made the center I placed slightly to the left and a little bit downwards, because that is how I do want my cosmos to be placed. And it does mostly have 8 petals, so I'm starting with those larger ones that are going on the right and then going on to the left to the smaller ones. If it makes it easier for you, you can first maybe divide that circle into 8 parts just to know where to place each petal, and I believe that will make it easier for yourself. And if not, if you don't need that, you can just do it as I did, just swing it on and draw them as you feel, by your hinge, I would say. So if not, just divide them into 8 parts, then add a little bit larger petals that are a little bit more in a tear shape, and those that are a little bit downwards, they are a little bit more squashed on the left side. And as you can see, the part nearest to the center is a little bit thinner and then just going thicker outwards and a little bit squished. So after finishing with that larger one, I'm moving to the second one, and this one will be a little bit more as a circle shape, not an oval but a circle looking towards us, and the petals will almost all be the same size, so it is even easier to do. And the center will be a little bit, again, more as a circle, not an oval. And then just add the stems, quite simple, I would believe. Just add the stems, and when I've added the stems, I decided I do want to do one bud on the right side, because I thought there was just enough place for a bud, so I did a bud. And that one is again looking though as a one little smaller petal. Added some leaves, and after finished with the bud, I also decided to add those leaves going, the cosmos flower doesn't really have leaves. It does, but not really looking like leaves. They're just like little needles, I would say. I don't know how to call them. So going from one branch, those are the leaves. So I decided to do a couple of those, but they're just here to make a composition. Not really, they're not going to be exactly the same in a finished painting, but I did want it to see how it would look. So I decided to do them here on a sketch also. Now I will just trace it, voila, there it is, onto my watercolor paper using graphite paper. And when finished with that, I took a kneaded eraser and removed the excess graphite. I do love to do that, even though if you don't have to make your sketch lighter, it is better if you pick up the excess graphite, because when you start painting it with water, adding water on top of it, or in painting it with paint, it will just move that excess graphite onto your paper, and I don't really like that, so I do remove it. Afterwards, I've pre-wetted the paper around the flowers, just leaving the petals and the bud, leaving them not wet, and everything around it I pre-wetted, and then just mixed in some bluish color and added just here and there while the paper is still wet, just add it here and there, and also this green paint, and also some pinkish paint around it here and there, just looking as though there is something going on in the background. And then I've sprinkled a little bit of the yellow, moved my paper so the paint would also spread around it as it likes, and then left it to dry completely. And when it did dry completely, I moved on to painting my flowers. And first I pre-wetted one of the petals on the larger flower, and then with a smaller brush I picked up the paint. This is some rose paint and added it to the center of the petal, and then just with another brush, clean brush, with just a little bit of water, I dried it onto my towel. After rinsing it, I just slightly moved that paint around just to smudge it slightly and not to leave the harsh edges. And that is basically how I will do all the petals on the both flowers. One more thing I will add, that you can see on my palette there is just this pinkish mixture, and there is just a little bit more orangey mixture that is the same paint, but I just added just a little bit of the yellow to it, and I will paint that lighter part of the petal with that color with addition of the yellow. And that is basically, as I said, how I'm gonna paint all the flowers, all the petals. When finished with them, I've just again mixed the same mixture, that pink color, in which I've added this, I don't know what color, maybe some burnt sienna, that would be, I think, just added a little bit of that burnt sienna just to make it slightly darker, and then painted in the center, nearest to the center, because I do want that part to look a little bit darker, as though it is in shadow, and it is naturally a little bit darker on the flower, on the cosmos flower. That part is a little bit darker, so I'm adding it also to make the distinction between my petals, and just to add some shadows and make the highlights pop even more. Same thing I did also on the smaller flower. For the bud, I also used that pinkish mixture, and the same thing, I did exactly the same thing. The nearest to the center, I've painted it the darkest, and then to the lighter part, I've added that mixture with a little bit of yellow in it. After the flowers dried completely, I moved on to painting the center of the flower, and for that I've used very saturated yellow color, and I've left some part. You can see I've painted that darker yellow on the left side of the larger flower, and leaving that right side white and very light. And for the other flower, it is facing us, so I've painted the entire center and just left one part in the middle white. Also, I've added that darker, that is some brownish color. I would say it is something like burnt sienna. I've added it around the center to the part where it is touching the petals. Again, adding that darker color to the petals of the left flower also, and making that part nearest to the center a little bit darker. I think those cosmos flowers are so delicate, so gorgeous. They're just dancing in the wind, I would say. And you know, I did decide to paint them quite light, because there are also different colors for them, and there's all different, a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, but I did want to make this one so delicate, so light, because you know, I do love it. They're just so tall on their long tall stems, and just looking so graceful, so I decided to paint them graceful and quite light. And then stems I've painted with green and added again that darker brown to the parts of it, because I did want to make them slightly darker. And again, that stem for the bud, I've also painted in green, and then added just a bit of the yellow to that stem, making it just slightly different than the other two. And when finished with that, I've just painted those leaves, I would say. I guess there are leaves, you know, with looking like needles, small needles. Well, not really small, but looking like needles. And as you can see, I'm just adding those lines and connecting the branches to my flower, some not. And again, just adding those, some larger, some smaller needles. with this smaller round brush, I've painted in the leaves with green color and then just added just a little bit of the yellow also to those leaves. And when my flowers dried, I did want to make them slightly darker, so I did add that mixture of pink color with yellow color and just on top added it here and there. Didn't try to make it perfect this time, just added it here and there and then smudge it with the clean water. A little bit more of the shadows and details to the center of the flower, and just like that I'll be finishing off with this. There is just one more thing I will do, but you'll see. And well, I think that was quite simple, right? It was very quite simple. I encourage you to try it, to do it. They're just so gorgeous, and I do love I actually hang this painting onto my wall, and I do love cosmos flowers. I have flowers all around my walls, so I do love it, and it's so delicate, so beautiful, and not showy, not, you know, just in your face. So that is the one thing I said I will do. I'm using a white gel pen to add in some lines, some veins in white, and I could have done it in a darker color, but I did not want to. I just did wanted to do them in a white, and you can of course do that with a white gouache if you don't have a gel pen, or maybe some white marker. That would be also fine. And with that, I'll be finishing up this painting and of course this video. Thank you guys a lot for watching, for all your support. I really do appreciate that a lot. And if you do like this video, please hit the like button, share it, comment. And as you can see right now, I was just picking up my washi tape and I ripped my paper. You always say, you don't rip your paper, what is that, washi? But it does happen to me also because, well, it was a little bit wet, so it glued too much onto my paper. And you could have seen right now what I did. I just used the clean brush with a clean water, went over it on top of that part that was slightly ripped, and then with my fingers then, well, glued it down onto the paper, and it does work perfectly. So don't be upset if it happens to you. It is fixable. So again, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button, share it, comment. And if you haven't still, please subscribe to my channel. That would really mean a lot to me. And if you want to go a step further, consider joining my channel. Press that join next to the subscribe button, listen to the offer, and then decide whether or not you want to join. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!